Hello everyone, my name is Forex Extraordinaire as always, and I am back from spring break, so that means I have to get back to my unfortunate duties as a college student. However, one of those fun things I get to do being back from spring break is record videos, so I decided to kick it off with this little video here, kind of documenting and going over a few of the new things we can expect from the Vitruvius update, and possibly offering some insight and just giving you guys the drop on some of these new details, because we've been waiting a long ass time. When I say a long ass time, I mean a long ass time for some of these features to drop out, like specifically the custom nation names. So with that said, let's just dive into the details and get into this really exciting and promising update. Okay, affinity balancing is what the devs have really been needing to do, and thankfully I think they are nerfing the builder and science modes, because you could just rack up tons and tons of production and science and it just made the game a cakewalk, especially when the AI got them. Even if you restricted yourself by not playing those scientist and builder cultures, which could be really unfortunate because they are fun. Believe me when I say that. It's just when the AI gets the unfortunate incident of playing or picking a scientist or builder culture, they just go on and steamroll the game, especially on higher difficulties. I've noticed, at least for me, maybe I've just been unfortunate, but that's kind of been my experience in general. So I'm so glad that they are just tuning and bringing down some of those modes that the certain affinities like scientists and builders can access, really, and hopefully buffing some of these smaller cultures like the Phoenicians, because they definitely need a little bit of a kick. Speaking of which, I'm gonna wonder if they buff any of those African cultures too. I feel like a few of them, like possibly the Ethiopians, could use a bit of a nudge. Maybe I'm wrong here. I haven't played them too much, but I think the Ethiopians at least could use a bit of a buff. Maybe a nerf to some of the stronger cultures there, like the Maasai. We'll have to see. And then we also have notification options coming, religion improvements, early modern sieges, and then there's also a ton of other bug fixes teased. So we have that coming. One other tidbit I did want to focus on, though, is religion. It's just really weird, the current state of the game with religion. Once you get a strong start to religion, there is almost no competition, and religion feels like one of those systems, along with diplomacy and trading in the grand scheme of like domestic and foreign economics and just how you deal with those investments. It feels like one of those systems that is just a bit underdeveloped, and it's kind of unfortunate to see that. It's just very weird to deal with. Like, building a religion is interesting enough, and kind of going from like a very unorganized set of disparate tribes and gradually advancing is a very fun concept, but they could do so much more with religious interactions and kind of like setting up holy sites. Maybe there's certain events to like establish a priesthood, make yourself the ruler, kind of like in CK2 Holy Fury. You could be a bit temporal, or you could have like your own pope, just something like that, a little fun mechanic. Possibly they're saving this for expansions, who knows, but there really needs to be a bit more development in that area, in my opinion. And since they're also kind of selling this, as for sieges, I think honestly combat is surprisingly one of the most fun things in Humankind for me. A lot of people were doubting the combat system, but I honestly walked away pretty satisfied on that. One of the most satisfying game mechanics of Humankind, I think, at least in my opinion, is the siege system. So there's not really too many issues I think I have with that. It's more so independent people and how the game handles that. For example, rebels are classified basically as independent people, and they'll go ahead and attack other different cities, which is very irritating. Like, one game for my Let's Play with Ethiopia, I will link that in the top right hand corner, but one game for my Let's Play, I basically had rebels from the Achaemenid Persians or whatever, or the Umayyads, and they came over, and instead of deciding to fight for their cause for like lesser taxes or something like that, they just went ahead and sieged my city, which gained them absolutely nothing, and just weakened me for their overlord to come ahead and attack me again, which was kind of funny, because you'd think that would be the opposite intended effect. Maybe like in the future, rebels could also seek independence or try to garner some support from other players, but no, that's not the case. They just love attacking anyone and everyone in their sight, like a chihuahua with rabies. So it is it is very awkward kind of dealing with that. So again, with Humankind, I think the main theme and something that really needs development is lesser features getting more and more fleshed out. And say what you will, but I think some of the devs' decisions, and I won't bash them too much on this, but I think deciding to spend all that extra time on like developing new like climate game modes could have been way better spent on things like fleshing out religion, economics, and diplomacy. So I'm just patiently crossing my fingers and praying that we get some decent DLC and free patches to come out. And just I hope our patience is rewarded really from Amplitude. But I think the devs could at least be a bit more communicative in the future going forward. But otherwise, this has been For Extraordinaire. I am fairly hyped for this update. I hope it brings a lot to the table. And it's shaping up to be, it seems, a fairly substantial update. All right. Love you guys. Peace.